Yeah. Well, I mean, like I have been playing in bands since I was 12 years old. Like starting in your high school, like pop punk bands, and like just gradually it just got heavier and heavier. But like I guess I was vocalist of a band called Noir. We were pretty low key. We didn't really do anything crazy. And prior to that, I only played guitar in bands. I played in a band called Athena's Wake. We were around for a few years, just like pretty like death metal influenced deathcore. The next band, pretty similar vibes, probably closer to like how Melancholia sounds, I guess. But yeah, like I was vocalist of that band, and our main songwriter decided he was done, and I that kind of like rocked me a bit because in my impression, I was like that band was going to be the one that like I did it with. I was like sort of that was my last roll of the dice, and I guess like I sort of wallowed a bit. Like I got fairly depressed for a while there, and then I kind of just like, for lack of a better term, I just kind of cracked the shits and just went, fuck this. Like, I'm not going to rely on anyone. I'm going to pick up my guitar again. I hadn't played guitar in like 2 years because I was doing vocals for that band. And it was my first band doing vocals in. So I was like really trying to make sure I was honing in my craft with it. And I picked up my guitar again and I just started writing songs. I didn't have a plan. I was just anything that came out of me, I would like, if I wrote a riff and even if it wasn't like a deathcore sounding riff or something like that, I would still see it through to the end. And I ended up writing like 20 something songs. And when I got to it, I started like narrowing down on which songs would be on a release. And then by the time I sort of zeroed in on that, I kind of thought, well, I mean, I can get a band together now. Like I can do the vocals live and write all the music. So I guess I sort of started grabbing members from bands that I'd toured with over the years and sort of just going through and thinking, you know, who's the right people, who's like, who wants this, who actually like wants to try and make this a priority in their life and try and have like a good crack at it. And that's when I met Josh. I mean, I didn't meet Josh actually. I've known Josh for 13 years from touring and stuff like that in other bands. So he was the first one on board. I sent him God Tongue off our first album. And as soon as he heard it, he was like, yeah, I mean, he was playing bass in a Virgin's Crown for like 4 years.
Yeah.
He packed it in and he was also in the same mindset for a bit there where he was just like, not going to give it a go again until I sent him that. And he was in immediately. Then kind of went through like a little bit of lineup changes early, really, before we did anything. We had like a different bass player, a different drummer, and a different rhythm guitarist at the very start. We got all the songs recorded and we're sort of ready to go. And then we kind of shifted the lineup a bit. We brought in Billy, which I also knew from playing in shows with back in the day. He was in a band called Earthender, which you guys would probably know. Alpha Wolf, the singer Lockie, was in that band. Yeah. That was his first band. Cool. So Billy was in that with him for years. I played with him a bunch of times. I met him once when he was drunk out at a nightclub. He came up to me and he's like, "You don't know me, bro, but you look really cool and I'd love to hang out with you one day." And then I never saw him again for like 4 years or something like that. And then I was asking my friend Alessio from Starve, and I was like, "Bro, who do I get on second guitar? I don't know anyone." And he was like, "Oh, do you know Billy, like from Earthender?" And I was like, "Oh, I remember that guy." So I hit him up, sent him a song, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll try out for that for sure." And then all of a sudden, yeah, he was in the fold. We shot all the music videos, and basically by the time we got to the end of it, we sort of like we parted ways with our bass player and our drummer just because it just wasn't working necessarily like for what our vision was and I guess what they sort of had going on in their lives. And that's when we brought in Mason on drums. And Mason
has been in a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Mason, he was in I Exalt. Anyone who had their ear to the ground to the Australian scene knows how sick that band was. I played with them bunch over the years. Mason's been like one of my best mates for like, well, the funny thing is, I guess I met Mason and Josh on the same day in 2013. My old band Athena's Wake was playing with I Exalt, and Josh was TMing for, I don't know, anyone knows the band Graves from Australia, they were on tour, and Athena's Wake played with them in our hometown back then, which is Geelong. And I met them both on the same day. And I kept in touch with Josh a bit over the years because he really liked Athena's Wake. But I mostly was like, as soon as I met Mason, he was like my best mate. So like we'd call each other 3 hours a week over the last 13 years. So yeah, like it finally came around. We'd talked about being in a band together for so many years, and it finally came around. There was an opportunity for Mason to come on board. And yeah, as soon as he was in, that was it. It was like all cylinders firing with the four of us. We released that first single, Horror Ethereal, and we got hit up by our friend Matt Van Duppen, who was the guitarist for Thornhill. He's also working for a management company called Future History, which is, Ryan Richards' company from Funeral for a Friend. He books Sleep Token and Loathe and stuff like that. So yeah, we got picked up by Matt immediately because I guess he saw merit in what we were doing. And I remember I'm really good friends with Nick from Thornhill. He sent me a screenshot of Matt in their band chat saying this band will be in Europe in 2 years, mark my words. And funnily enough, that actually came true sooner than that. But yeah, Matt got us he got our foot in the door with everything. He put us into conversations where we might not have had, I guess, as much of a word in like prior. So like I knew Josh from Grayscale pretty well, and I had said to him at one point, I'm like, hey man, like it's probably not going to be a thing. So at the time they were really only signing, I guess, metalcore bands. I'm like, it might not be a thing, but can I send you our new album, see what you think? And he was like, yeah, of course. So I sent that to him, and all of a sudden Matt hits me up and he's like, yo, Grayscale's interested. And I was like, oh shit, didn't expect that. So yeah, we kind of got in conversations with Grayscale, and we use that as our leverage for other labels, I suppose. I guess Matt was able to go to other labels and be like, hey, I've got this band. Grayscale's already interested. Here's what they've got to offer. What are you guys? Do you guys want to come to the table? We did have, I guess, an album. We had every music video filmed. We had a pretty crazy edited graphic design special fucking EPK. We had bios written. We had like merch samples done and everything. Like we sort of came ready to go. And we basically just, like we were approaching these labels with like a full package. Like, here is everything done. You don't have to do anything but put it out and promote it. So we got into chats with a few labels. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry to cut you off, but I mean, because at that point too, I guess just for more context, like at that point, a label doesn't even have to put money into production, into anything outside of promo, really, and trying to, worst case, buy-ons, like just trying to get you guys out there right at that point. You can see like a full thing that's already paid for.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Like it was, and that's what I tell any of my friends that have asked for advice with labels. I'm like, make their job easier. It's come to them with everything, be organized, have a plan. And lo and behold, it worked for us. Like we obviously, like there's some merit in having a very established and defined image. I think that had a lot to do with it as well. And we made sure that everything was cohesive. Everything was in one spot. It was literally like, here's a folder and here's an EPK, like to the point where our EPK was so detailed that it was like hyperlinked. So if you clicked on a photo, it opened like a whole like folder of things, or like you click on something that said music videos, it took you to all our music videos. Like we just spent the money and really took our time and organized everything. Like before this band was even public, I think it was like 2 years in the making of prepping everything. So like History Rotten Teeth came out in 2023. That album was recorded in 2021. Like we had everything ready to go. We had our library built like 2 years before we played a show. So yeah, I guess like Matt got us into those conversations. We had the right product. And then all of a sudden, as much of a shock as it was, we had like, it was originally we were sort of aiming for Sharp Tone. And Matt came back to us and he said, Sean from Sharp Tone's interested. And Sean at the time was, head of A&R of Nuclear Blast. and he was obviously running Sharptone as well. And it just so happened that it made more sense for us to be on Nuclear Blast, which in hindsight, I'm glad that was the move we made, for no reason other than like, I feel like just image and sound wise, like we fit more on that label. And yeah, it's been all systems go since then. So as soon as we were signed to both of those, we were sort of like hit the ground running, so to speak. We played our first show with Die Art, at like a almost sold out, like 1,000 cap venue or something like that on their Decade of Hate tour. And then like, can we linger on that just for a second?
Talk to me a little bit about like you're playing that first show. You've built this thing up for like fucking 2 years. You know, okay, sure, you've had the single out, but no one knows any of the other songs, and now you're playing to 1,000 cap venue with Die Art. Like, how was it like stepping onto that stage for the first time?
I think we were so prepared that, like, I mean, there was nerves obviously, but we've all played like a million shows before, and I think that really helped us. Like there was the nerves of like, oh shit, here we go. Like this is the first one. It wasn't the biggest show I'd ever played, so I wasn't super stressed, and I knew there was a lot of people there that were there to support us. We had rehearsed like pretty intensely prior to it. And I was very aware of the persona I was trying to put across on stage. So it wasn't in any way stressful, but it definitely was a massive success. Like we had a lot of people reeling after that first show, just pretty blown away by the fact that it was our first show. Because we came out there so professional and polished, and yeah, like it was definitely the sickest way we could have kicked things off. And it's very funny to have a full circle moment where our first show was with Die Art, and next week we go on tour with them as direct support. Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy what 2 years changes. But yeah, it wasn't anything stressful or like nerve wracking. It was just like, now's the time. Like it's now or never. Let's fucking get out there and show them what we're doing. And that's pretty much what it's been ever since, no matter who we're sort of playing with or what the crowd size is. It's always just been like, this is us, take it or leave it.
I mean, nerves aside, there's, you know, you're playing in front of that many people. There's a great reception. Must have been fun, right? Just to be able, right? Like awesome first fucking show to play, right?
Yeah. It was like, I think like we always like go out there to have fun. Like I wouldn't do this if I didn't love every second of it. And yeah, I think it was extra sick for all of us because it was like, we were all kind of dusting off the cobwebs. Like it had been 3-4 years since my last show. I think Mason had played maybe 6 months prior. Josh hadn't played in like 4 years, and Billy hadn't played for like 7 or 8 years. So it was nice to dust off the cobwebs, and it felt very right to be back on stage.